Hi everyone, my name is Courtney and I write under the pen names Lyra Parish, and I'm one half of the USA Today best-selling duo Kennedy Fox. And today is Q&A Monday, and you guys have come through with asking more questions. I'm super excited about it. So I'm actually going to start at the bottom of the list today. Yeah, I think we should just go ahead and get started. So the first question comes from Christopher, and it says, how many ISBNs do you use specifically when publishing a new book? Paperback, hardcover, ebook, and alternate cover if we have that going on in that series. So pretty much 4. We do sometimes have large print, so that would take another ISBN. And when we decide to go wide on all platforms with our audio, that will take another ISBN. But typically we have 3 or 4. With our Love in Isolation series, we have alternate covers for each one of those books. And so we know for a fact that that is going to have 4 ISBNs. The question continues, and it says, do you use the same ISBN for the KDP paperback after your pre-order period is over with the Ingram paperback? We do not do paperback pre-order with Ingram, so that is not really an issue for us. Your question continues and it says, can you have both paperbacks live at the same time with the same ISBN between Kendall and Ingram, or do you need to close one? So what we do is we have our paperbacks on Amazon using one ISBN. We'll call it ISBN A so it doesn't get confusing. And when we upload our paperbacks on Ingram, it is after the paperback has gone live on Amazon, and it also uses ISBN A. So when Ingram goes to push out those paperbacks on their wide distributors, it does not go to Amazon because it sees the ISBN as already in use there, and so there's not a duplicate entry for that. I assume that if you were putting pre-order for Ingram first, you would almost have to turn off distribution on Ingram, waited for Amazon to go live, and then re-enable distribution. I believe that it would not be duplicated, but I haven't personally tested that because we haven't gotten to the point where we are doing pre-orders on Ingram first. I hope that we eventually get there because I feel like it's a good thing to let people pre-order your paperbacks, but I hope that helps. So the next one comes from Steph, and the question is, how would you give your book a fresh new cover to keep up with trends without losing your rating/reviews on Amazon specifically or any other platforms? So you just literally go into Amazon, iBooks, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, and you put the new cover on there. That's it. For ebooks, it's really easy. All you do is re-upload the cover. Now, when it comes to paperbacks, it becomes a little bit more difficult. What you're going to need to do with paperbacks is get another ISBN, put the new paperback on there, unpublish the old one, and then have Amazon link the new one. It will keep all of your reviews on the ebook. So when you go to link the paperback on Amazon, all of your reviews are still there and your paperback and your ebook still matches. It's pretty easy to do. When you're changing major content inside of the book, that's when it gets a little iffy because it's considered a new version. So you're supposed to do a new ISBN and all of that. We're not really updating any of the internals. It's literally just a facelift. The next question comes from Mafalda. I believe that's how you say your name. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. It says, I don't know if you've answered this before, but how did you two agree on Kennedy Fox? Did either of you come up with it and then the other agreed? So we have answered this. I believe it was in our Q&A that Brooke and I did a year ago. We knew that we wanted a short name on the cover because Brooke's last name is Cumberland. It is like the entire alphabet long, and we wanted something that would fit nicely, that would be easy to remember and easy to spell. That was 3 boxes that it had to check. I think Brooke knew someone who just had a kid or just really liked the name Kennedy, and then we just went back and forth with last names, like what about Kennedy this or Kennedy that? And one of my favorite movies is You've Got Mel with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
They're opening up a Fox Books around the corner.
Fox Books, my daddy
likes to buy a discount, but don't tell anybody that, honey. There's nothing to be proud of.
F-O-X.
That is amazing. You can spell fox. Can you spell dog?
F-O-X. F-O-X.
Look at this dinosaur book. It's a pop-up dinosaur book. Wouldn't you like to have a dinosaur book like that?
If you've ever watched it, Tom Hanks's last name is Fox, and they own Fox Bookstore, which is the one that takes Meg Ryan's little small bookstore out of business. Brooke really likes that movie too, and then we were like, what about Fox? F-O-X, Fox. And I actually really liked that we could use foxes as our branding before we were out and about and everyone knew who we were. And that's the way Kennedy Fox was born. The next question comes from Gabrielle. I have 4 books released and sales have really dipped. I've tried social media marketing, but maybe I'm not posting the right stuff. I've recently tried an Amazon sale too, but it didn't draw in any readers either. Do you have any recommendations for keeping up sales or drawing in readers again? So Gabrielle, it's hard for me to give specific advice without knowing what books you've released, what your branding is like, looking at your blurbs, seeing your reviews. Is it a series? Is it standalones? How is your back matter? Are you leading people to the next book in your series or to the next book that you release? Like, there's a lot of different factors that come into the sticky value of your books. And one of the big things is covers. If your book cannot compete with other covers that are in your genre, you will get swallowed whole. Point blank, period. I have authors who come to me all the time and they're like, hey, I'm releasing my debut. Here is the cover. Here's the blurb. Here's the short synopsis. Would you like to read it? And I don't have time to read things for pleasure. I don't have time to give people critical reviews of their books. But the number one thing that I see is terrible covers. I'm just gonna be completely honest. Like I said, I don't know what your covers look like. I don't know if they are genre specific, if they can compete with the #1 place in the subcategory. If they can't, your covers could be one of those things that kind of turn people off. Also, do you have a newsletter? Are you sending a newsletter out to your current readers? Have you tried to do any sort of Facebook ads, book group takeovers? Are you on TikTok? Have you tried to make any TikToks? It's difficult right now because of the climate of the holidays. A lot of people aren't being seen. And I mean, we struggle with that too during December. There's a lot of sales going on. There are a lot of companies who's putting big money into ads so people will holiday shop. And for a self-published author, it's really hard to compete. The algorithm is so much harder during basically Thanksgiving to New Year's because so many people are posting a lot of content, and also the ad spend for businesses is in the $1 million range. And so someone who is, you know, just a small author cannot compete with that. I would say during the holidays, the best thing that you could do is stay active, to continue to post, Throwback Thursdays, Teaser Tuesdays, try to do some group takeovers on Facebook. If you don't have a huge following, there are plenty of groups that allow you to do that, so you can try to find new readers, try to get people to go into your group, to follow you on social media. And you have to make sure that your back matter is completely updated with how people can find you and how they can find your next book if they love what you've currently written. January is going to be super busy. A bunch of trad pub books release in January and February for their winter months. It's that quarter where like books are just pushed out like crazy. And so I can say that the next few months are going to be a little rough because so many people are releasing in the new year. I would say nothing is going to sell your backlist better than your front list, and continuing to publish and push out new books while also pushing out your old books. And that takes just being active on social media. If you have the money to do some low budget ads, that can help you. If you have the opportunity to apply for BookBub and do a freebie on one of your books, that typically leads people through your series or to the next book that you have linked in the back of your back matter. Freebie promotions do amazing. Apply to BookBub for every book that you have. They may deny all 4, and that's okay. There's a bunch of other newsletter sites that don't perform quite as well as BookBub, but they do perform. And I would say try to get one of those and give away a free book with the intention that you're leading people to your next one, while also writing your next book in your series or starting a new series or whatever it is that you have next on your schedule. Don't get too caught up in your sales dipping. Remember, it's the holidays, it's the beginning of the year. It's very, very hard to compete right now. That's normal. Our sales on Christmas dipped because nobody was online. People were with their families, as were we, and we expect that. And come New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, our sales will probably dip then again. It's going to be hard to compete in January, and that's every single year. That never changes. So I would just keep that in mind, that it is the holidays and it is hard to compete right now. Try a freebie. Look at your covers, do the thumbnail test, put your cover up against the top 5 books in your category. Can it compete, or does it stick out like a sore thumb? If it sticks out like a sore thumb, you've got a cover issue. But anyway, I hope that was helpful, and do not get too discouraged. And know that when you finish a series, you'll usually see a boost in sales because people love to binge it. So you might have a dip, you finish a series, boom, it goes up. If you're writing all standalones, make sure that your back matter is completely updated. Courtney asks, not me, another awesome Courtney, spelt the same way. What does your writing routine, writer's day, and the life look like? Also, do you adhere to a daily word count or just work off a set amount of hours? Oh, routine. What is that? What is daily routine? My life in 2021 was hectic. You guys know I'm not gonna talk about everything that's gone on because you know, and I talk about it too much. And I don't want to get upset during this video, but it was hard for me to have a routine like for 18 months after I quit my job because I never knew what my day was gonna look like. I never knew how things were gonna go. I just literally took it one day at a time. If I woke up that day, it was a success for me. And then after things happened, it was the same way. I just didn't really have a routine. I wasn't motivated to do anything. I was depressed. I can say that now I feel like my life has somewhat settled down. I feel better mentally, physically. I feel more like myself now than I have in the last 2 years. That just comes with healing and trying to deal with my grief the best that I can. But with all of that being said, my routine when it comes to writing is I write at night. When I work corporate, I was very like schedule based. Like everything was on a schedule. If you weren't on my schedule, you just didn't have the time of day with me. At 9 o'clock, pretty much every night, I would start writing. So I am conditioned to start writing at 9 o'clock. Like the creative part of my brain doesn't click on until that time. What I'll do is during the day, I'll run errands, I'll clean my house, I sleep late, I don't set an alarm. It's a dream come true, trust me, because you guys know that I love to sleep and I love to stay up late. I try to get up by 10. But that doesn't always happen. But my goal is to get up at 10. I'll make breakfast, I'll get online, I'll try to do some admin things that I have. And then at night, I write. And I don't typically have a word count goal. I have learned that when I make word count goals, I don't meet them. I will fail every single time. Without a doubt. If I say today I'm writing 10,000 words, I'm not going to write 10,000 words. So I've learned that for some reason sets me up for failure. So I don't give word count goals. Instead, what I do is I give chapter goals. So I know that we have a book that's due. I will schedule out my days with chapters and I'll be like, okay, well this day I have to write this full chapter. It's typically 25 to 3,500 words. And some days I'm like, I need to write 2 chapters. And my goal is to be done by X date. And I track that when I'm writing and I put it in my bullet journal. I have like a list of all the chapters and the days and when they're finished and I like to mark them off. It gives me a serotonin boost to be able to complete that and highlight it. And I do the same thing when I edit. I make chapter goals. In my brain, since the number is smaller, I tend to accomplish that more than 10,000 words, although it's exactly the same. I work myself up with big word count goals. So I don't do that anymore. And I've not done that for years upon years. And that works for me. And it's just literally psychological. I love charting things. I love highlighting stuff or putting a checkbox next to something. And that really motivates me to complete it. I also set unrealistic deadlines all the time for everything that I do. And sometimes I meet them and sometimes I'm off by like 4 days. I don't beat myself up if I don't make my deadlines, but I try really, really hard to do that. And I've learned that I do make unrealistic deadlines. So I'm trying to make more realistic ones by going, oh, I think I can do it by this day. Well, I'm going to add 4 extra days to that because that's more realistic based on everything else that I've done. Live streaming really helps me accomplish my goals. If I need to write half a book in 7 days, I'll live stream every day. And then I do it, which you guys saw me do it on several streams. I've started and finished the last 3 books that I've written on live stream. And that motivates me. I learned that I have ADHD. That's called body doubling, where you have people watch you do a task, you're more motivated to do it and complete it. That has significantly helped me with my productivity when it comes to writing, because I can't BS everybody. I'm gonna write, you guys are watching me when I'm on live streams. I'm not doing Google searches, I'm actually writing. That was a very long answer to that question. I guess Ramble Courtney is here today, but I hope that that helps. The next question comes from Clary, and it is, I'm a self-published author trying to come up with a consistent, attainable writing schedule, but I have one big problem. First drafts take me forever, and I suck at keeping deadlines to myself. Last time I tried to fix this by booking editors and setting up pre-orders before my first draft was done, but that just caused me stress and my writing quality suffered. In addition to dictation, which I do already, what advice would you give me to help first drafts go faster, and what can I do to keep myself on schedule? There are a lot of things that can be affecting this. Like, are you just writing? Do you have a job outside of the house? Do you have kids? Are you married? Do you have family members that you're taking care of? Are there any outside factors that you have that stops you from not being able to write? Because those are important, and I have gone through it and completely understand that. For me, with my corporate job, I was very particular about at 9 o'clock is when I start writing. And what I would do is I would not freak myself out with word counts, which I just talked about in the previous question. But I would give myself a goal of writing half a chapter on a weeknight. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I would try to write half a chapter. So by the time Friday came, I had 2 chapters done. Friday night, I would try to write an entire chapter, and then I would use weekends to my advantage. And I would write a bulk of my words on Saturday and Sunday. I would not set up pre-order until you have your first draft. If you know that that is one of those things where it's like, you know, you're rushing for the deadline, and some people need urgency, other people having that looming date and those reminders coming from Amazon, you need to upload your book in so many days and the book has to be done this day. Like, that just does add extra stress that's not needed when you're trying to release the best book that you possibly can. I found that having accountability partners has been super helpful. My friend Rachel Brooks, which you guys have seen on live streams, we plant trees when I'm in the writing mode and editing mode, because she's the only person I know who is up at all hours of the night, because you guys know that I write and edit really late into the morning. She has been an amazing accountability partner. She plants trees with me. She asks me after every 30 minutes, how did you do that time? And I ask her too, and we get a lot of words written or a lot of words edited when we have each other. And we use the Forest app, which is an app that I talk about all the time. I've literally talked about it at Christmas because I love that app so much. But having an accountability partner has been super, super helpful for me. And if you have a newsletter, use your readers as your accountability partner. Be like, hi guys, I just wanted to check in with you. I'm working on this amazing book, insert title here, and I'm about 25% through it, and my goal is to be at least 50% through it in 2 weeks, so to add 25%. And if I make my goal, I will give away a $10 Amazon gift card to you guys. So just please, if you see me playing online, keep me accountable, send me some good juju, tell me how excited you are about this book, and let them pump you up to bring them the work that they actually want. A thing that Brooke does that I absolutely love, like, she's great at social media, guys. Like, I'm lucky I have the best writing partner ever, but when we're writing and people are excited for our next release, she'll go and put in our group like a snippet of a scene that she wrote, and she's like, just to set the scene, not safe for work because we're romance authors, but here's a scene that I just wrote and I really, really love. And she'll pace like 250, 400 words. People will literally be so excited about the book, and that just inspires you to keep going. Like, to know that people are waiting for it and that people want it. As far as sticking to deadlines, I've found that when I make chapter goals, it's so much easier for me. Be kind to yourself. If you know that you can physically write 1,000 words per day, say, okay, well today I want to write half a chapter. That is my goal. Just half a chapter? Like, that doesn't sound too intimidating. If you are not a plotter and you're a pantster, I would try to plot out the next scene that you're gonna write. So then you know and you have a vision in your head of what's coming next. I found that it was hard for me to stick to deadlines when I was plantsting, which is kind of plotting and kind of pantsting. But when I started plotting hardcore, it was much easier for me to write really fast because I wasn't thinking on the spot of what needed to come next. Like, I knew what needed to come next. Talked about accountability partners. I have a co-writer, so Brooke depends on me to finish my stuff. I can BS myself all day long, but I cannot BS my writing partner. She knows, she can see it, she can cross-check it. She knows that, hey, you need to be writing right now, like, what are you doing? And if I'm not, then I let her down. And if I don't do my part, then the pre-order doesn't get uploaded and we lose all those sales. So there's a lot that goes into it for me that helps me keep my deadlines. Accountability partners is like the #1 thing. Know what I'm writing next. I also go live stream and I have people write with me, and that helps me a whole lot. But I also have the issue of setting unrealistic deadlines. That's something that I am still working on. It's something that I will probably work on all through 2022. But I think the best bet for you would be not to set up pre-order to help your readers keep you accountable. Finding an accountability partner would be super helpful, where you can kind of like check in with each other, and taking breaks. For real. As self-published authors, most of the stress that we have, we bring on to ourselves. And I have realized this over the last 8 years, that every time I have a looming deadline, I am like, why did we do this? Or why did I do this? And sometimes it helps to take a step back. So don't set deadlines officially with pre-orders. I feel like when I post about writing online, people always come to the rescue. I had a post recently and I was like, I'm going into editing hell, y'all wish me luck. And it had like 70 comments on it of people going, you've got this, you can do this. You know, I'm like, help pump me up. I need all the encouragement I can get. And so I use social media to pump me up, and it tends to work. Also, I will say that the more experienced you become, the easier it is to hit deadlines. At this point, we have how many books released? I've lost count. It was harder when I was new. And the more that I do it, the more I'm like, oh, I can do that. Oh, we have a book releasing next month and we need to plot it right now. Got that. It's a muscle. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes and the easier it is to hit deadlines. I have a friend who misses every pre-order she sets up. And it's because she's like, I'm gonna do this. And she's like highly motivated. And then she sets up a pre-order, and every single time something happens where she cannot make that pre-order. And she has lost pre-order like 3 times. Like every time she gets it back, she sets up another one and loses it again. And I'm like, stop. Like, do not set up pre-order until you have your book written, because at that point you could quickly get it edited and put it up. But if you keep putting pre-order up, it's like you are setting yourself up for failure. Like, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth losing pre-order. If you're on all the wide sites, you can set up pre-order there all day long and you can move the dates and they're not going to penalize you like Amazon. But with the Amazon pre-order, like, you have to make it. Like, you just can't not make it, or you'll get penalized and you'll lose pre-order for a year. And so if you know that that's one of your hangups, first draft first, then pre-order, bottom line, until you get into your groove and you know exactly how you work, and then you can start setting pre-orders out a year in advance. That was a very long answer, and I hope that that helps. Okay, I think this is gonna be the last one because I'm already on video number 2 on my memory card, and so I don't want this to be like 50 minutes long. The next and final question is coming from Malia. Thank you for giving me the pronunciation. I really appreciate that. You know I will jack it up. And it says, hey Courtney, smiley face. Hi. I have self-published 2 nonfiction books before. One was a motivational journey for family and friends, and the other is an anthology that has earned local indie awards. My goal was to always be a fiction author though, and I am planning to self-publish YA, NA, and MG novels from now on. Should I consider changing my pen name for my fiction books so that it will not conflict with the previous nonfiction books I have published before? Does it matter for my fiction author brand moving forward to change my name? even if I have distanced myself from posting and sharing about the nonfiction books on my website and social media accounts. I honestly think that if they're old and it's like a journal and an anthology, as long as it's not like an erotica anthology, you would be totally fine. I don't think there's a need to remove them unless they have terrible reviews. Other than that, I don't think people really like look at super old stuff and they're like, oh, she did a journal. I really don't think anybody cares about it, and you may eventually decide to unpublish that stuff, you know what I mean? So with that, I would say to keep it. An anthology project, like, we have anthologies all under our Amazon name of stuff that you can't even like buy anymore. It's just kind of like chilling there and out of print. I think it would be fine. I would say if you're doing middle grade and YA and then you plan to do new adult, I would almost split those. I would stick with MG and YA because I feel like there is some crossover there, because your middle grade readers will essentially grow up to read YA, but new adult typically has scenes in it that are not okay for children, and you don't want children to read adult scenes. I'm all about like protecting kids, like, but I'm also about people publishing whatever they want. But when you are literally creating a brand that is for children and then you write stuff that is for adults, I think that's where it can get a little confusing. As far as the old stuff, I would leave it. I wouldn't even worry about it, but I would highly consider you not publishing new adult under a middle grade and YA pen name. That's just me because of the content that new adult typically has. It comes from someone who writes new adult contemporary romance. I know what new adult involves, and I don't think that it is appropriate for children under the age of 18. So yeah, that's all I have. I believe I have some giveaways to close. I think there are actually 2 giveaways that I need to close at this point. So I will go ahead and put the winners here for the 2 giveaways. Also, I have replied back to some people to claim their prizes, and I have not heard anything. So come January 1st, if you have not claimed your prize, I am going to choose a different winner. I hate to be like that, but like, I don't want this stuff to just sit around. And so I've pinned comments on old videos. I've told people that they have won. You have until January 1st, and then I'm gonna choose somebody else. So I do have another giveaway, and it is a $50 gift card to Bookbow. I've been buying Bookbows from Benita. She's the one who created the original book sleeves since she was selling on Etsy, and now she is like a worldwide brand, and that makes me super happy for her. So I'm going to give away a $50 gift certificate to Bookbow, so you can pick out your own book sleeve or really just anything that you want off the website. She has a bunch of different options, and I will announce that winner next week. Bye guys, that's all I have for today. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have an amazing, incredible week. You accomplish all your goals and you write all the words, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye guys.